Hey VC, what's up? It's me, yours truly. I am back to post kind of a two approach video here. One is just kind of sharing an absolute incredible story, one of the most incredible things I've ever experienced musically last night, as well as kind of catching up again on album of the week. So gonna kind of combine the two. So to keep this video real short, 'cause I don't have a lot of time, I got to get running here. But there's a blues thing that's been going on for the past few months, where the St. Louis Public Library system's been doing these different activities, some film stuff, some speakers, and all different type of things. But anyway, I wasn't totally aware of all this. It was kind of going on or whatever. But anyway, some stuff kind of happened the other day where when I was going to get CDs and this and that, I ended up bumping into and seeing meeting the person that actually came in for the lecture that they were doing the night. And again, it's just one of those fluke things that just paths happened to cross and all this type of stuff. And it ended up being David Porter. And for those of you who don't know who David Porter is, he is pretty much one of the complete founders and innovators of Stax Records. He and Issac Hayes, for the most part, especially in the early years of Stax Records, pretty much wrote like everything with Stax Records. Again, we're talking about stuff like, you think about Sam and Dave, like Hold On, I'm Coming, Soul Man, what else? Wrap It Up, Sitting on the Dock of the Bay by Otis Redding, all that stuff. He and Issac Hayes were the ones that wrote all of that stuff. So again, it was just one of those incredible things that just kind of pops out of nowhere. And what made it even more incredible is, having a chance to talk to him and ask him questions and all this type of stuff. I mean, it was just one of those mind-blowing experiences. Because you have to keep in mind, he and Issac Hayes started working together and writing when he kind of told the story. He said he used to work at a grocery store, and there was a place called Satellite Records that was right across the street, and it was kind of a country western type of recording studio. So he just kind of got in good with a couple of people that worked there, and said he wanted to come in and try to record some stuff and work with him. And they were like, well, we do country westerns, I don't think it's stuff that you... But they kind of, let him in, and he recorded a few things and started, kind of getting in good with him. And then, he said Issac Hayes was someone that he knew from the neighborhood, because they used to do, battles, for lack of better terms. They have little singing contests and all that type of stuff. And he went to Issac Hayes and said, hey, we could put our minds together, come over here and really do something big. I want you to come and help me write. And so this is before either one of them are known for anything. And so he told me this story about how they, got together and basically turned Satellite Records into Stax Records. And of course, from that point forward, I mean, we all know about Stax Records. But the thing that was so amazing about it was, and I actually kind of asked him this question because he was talking and sharing all this stuff. And I said, having someone like you here in person, I was like, I can't pass up the opportunity to ask this, because you're sitting around here throwing names around like Otis and Isaac, this and everything else. And it's like I'm listening to him say that, but then it also starts to register. No, wait a second. Every time he says Otis and I and Otis, he's talking about Otis Redding. Every time he says Isaac, when we did and we thought we blah, 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 it's like, wait a minute. That's Issac Hayes. Like, he's throwing around Otis and Isaac and all other kind of names. Booker T and, the MGs. Booker T. I was like, yeah, and Booker and I'm like, wait a second, that's Booker T. And like I'm talking about my friend Joe at work. That's the way he's throwing around those names. And I was just like, I have to ask, just... We've seen these guys perform, we know what Otis was like on stage, and we know, all of that, but like, what was he like behind closed doors when it was just you and him, buddy, and all that? And he started kind of telling me that stuff about Booker, about Issac Hayes, about Otis Redding, and you're just sitting there with your jaw on the ground going, holy cow, this isn't like some, third, fourth-hand documentary being put together about the life of. It's like you're sitting there talking with the man that wrote Sitting on the Dock of the Bay and put it together and, you know, showed it to Otis and walked through it with him and, you know, just all of that. This is the man that wrote Soul Man. You know, that when the Bar-Kays needed, you know, he was telling a story about the Bar-Kays Soul Finger, and he was saying, oh yeah, you know, we were in the studio doing that, and you know the parts of the song where you hear that, like the woo, and you hear that Soul Finger, like all the people screaming in the background. He was like, yeah, I just went out into the street and grabbed some high school kids, bought a couple of cases of Coca-Cola, and just brought them into the studio. And so I told him that, you know, whenever I point up like this, you know, they have to scream out Soul Finger. And so he's like talking about how he put that piece together inside the song. And again, you're sitting there thinking, holy cow. You know what I mean? It was absolutely incredible. So to be able to sit there with someone like that and ask him all those questions and just, you know, on and on was just absolutely fantastic. 72 years old, sharp as heck. I mean, looks great too. You wouldn't assume he was 72 at all. So, absolute incredible experience. And you know, it's like even sitting looking at the back here of you know, because this is kind of the album of the week I'm kind of using too, because I think the Sam and Dave stuff is probably some of my favorite stuff that he's written. And you have to keep in mind, as a lot of producers and songwriters go, sometimes you don't really get a good understanding of what they've had their fingers in, because not only all the stuff that I mentioned with Booker T and Otis Redding, Sam and Dave, you know, Issac Hayes, obviously, of course, his solo stuff. But if you look at stuff like Dream Lover by Mariah Carey, he has writing credits on that. If you look at Getting Jiggy With It by Will Smith, he has writing credits on that. I mean, there's stuff by Jay-Z, which is like sampling type stuff, that, you know, he has writing credits on that. And he actually said, you know, like if you look at everything that I have writing credits on, you know, I have over 900 million albums sold. You know, so I mean, the guy is just like, he's, I don't know, just, again, I don't know, Porter and Issac Hayes, that's for anyone who knows about R&B, especially Stax Records, you know that was totally the fuel and engine that had Stax Records going, was those two collaborating and writing. You know, I kind of knew the story about Hold On, I'm Coming, but he also, you know, told the story about how Hold On, I'm Coming came about. Yeah, and then the stuff he was saying about Otis Redding behind closed doors, about his personality and Issac Hayes and the way he was about, you know, dressing and the personas that they had and the different personalities they had, and how quiet and reserved Booker T was and how intellectual Otis was. I mean, just all this stuff that he was sharing. And again, my jaw is just on the floor the whole time thinking, this is not a documentary. This is, you know, Porter. It's absolutely incredible. So anyway, I said album of the week is going to be Sam and Dave. I don't think I need to really play much of this because I'm sure most of you definitely know stuff off of it. And yeah, as you can see here, of course, bumping into him right across the street, I was able to grab my record here, and he signed that, as well as my CD. He signed it, Soul Man, David Porter. I mean, it still just blows my mind. Absolutely blows my mind. So to be able to sit and talk with a legend of Stax Records like that last night, definitely one of the best experiences I've ever had in my entire life musically. So just wanted to share that with you, VC. Another great moment, another great autograph to have in my collection. And album of the week, Sam and Dave. If you don't know it for whatever reason, make sure you go check it out. All right, so take care, VC, and we will talk to you soon.